Hi friends, in this video we will discuss about casting defects in point of appearing gate and engineering service. Fettling is the method of breaking the mold and taking out the casting from the mold. The solidified casting along with the mold is left on the vibratory machine. The vibrational force breaks the mold slowly. The molding boxes will be sent for remolding and finally the casting is sent for inspection. The following are the major defects which are likely to occur in sand casting. Gas defects, shrinkage cavities, molding material defects, pouring metal defects, mold shift. We will discuss about both cause and remedy for these casting defects. Main cause for gas defect is trapping of gas in the molten metal. Trapping of gas may occur in furnace or when molten metal reacting with oxygen in air. Other than this, next cause is when molten metal is poured into the mold cavity, molding sand evolves some gases due to high temperature. The mold should be made with proper porosity so that these gases will evolve out of the mold easily. First gas defect is blowholes. Blowhole is nothing but the cavity present on the surface or inside the casting. This occurs due to lower permeability of sand or poor venting of the mold or high pouring temperature of the molten metal increase the gas pickup or use of straight sprue in gating system may also cause aspiration of air. Next gas defect is pinhole porosity. Pinhole porosity is many small gas cavities at or slightly below the surface of the casting. Main cause is hydrogen gas get dissolved with the molten metal when it was in furnace. When the molten metal gets solidified in mold, it loses its temperature. By that time, the hydrogen gas get expelled. The hydrogen, while leaving the solidified metal, may cause small and long pinholes showing the path of its escape. Next is shrinkage cavities. Shrinkage cavity is a depression in surface or internal void caused by solidification shrinkage. Main cause for this is improper riser position. If the riser fails, the molten metal does not enter the mold during solidification. Shrinkage cavity may occur due to failure in gating system also. Remedy for this will be applying the principle of directional solidification in the mold design. Molding material defects includes cuts and washes, scab, metal penetration, fusion, swell. We will see in detail. Cut and wash is a defect which gives rough spot and area of excess metal on the casting surface. This is caused by the erosion of molding sand by the flowing of molten metal. Lack of molding sand strength also a cause. Remedy for this is using proper molding sand and designing gating system properly. Next, scab is the sand inclusion or slag inclusion in the casting. Main cause is using too fine sand. Other causes are low permeability of sand, high moisture content of sand, uneven mold ramming. Next is metal penetration. This is the penetration of molten metal into the gaps in mold cavity and occur rough casting surface. Main cause for metal penetration is using coarse sand. When coarse sand is used, the gaps occur between the sand and molten metal penetrates into the sand. Next is fusion. High temperature molten metal fuse with sand grain and results in brittle and glassy appearance on the casting surface. Main causes for fusion are the sand particles have low refractoriness and pouring temperature is too high. Next defect is swell. That is nothing but casting enlargement. Under the influence of metallostatic force due to molten metal, the mold wall may move back, causing a swell in the dimension of the casting. Main cause for this defect is improper ramming of the mold. In pouring metal defect, first defect is misrun. Here, the casting is solidified before completely filling the mold. Main cause for this is low pouring temperature. Next defect is cold shut. when two streams of metal flow together into a thin section, but there is lack of fusion happens. To solve this problem, gating should be well designed so that quick filling of mold will occur. Next is hard tear. Metal contraction happens during solidification. By that time, stress develops in the metal if the casting is prevented from contracting. Hard tear happens due to failure of collapsibility of molding sand and differential cooling rate. For this, using molding sand with proper collapsibility can rectify the problem. Next defect is mold shift. A step formed in the casting part at parting line. Cause for mold shift is sideways relative displacement of cob and drag boxes. To rectify this, proper alignment of molding box is needed. Next is fins. In some cases, leakage of molten metal happens out of the mold at the parting surface. Cause for this is using faulty molding flask. For this, sufficient weighting of the mold and proper clamping may avoid fins. Question number 1. In a green sand molding process, uniform ramming leads to option A, less chance of gas porosity, option B, uniform flow of molten into mold cavity, option C, greater dimensional stability of this casting, option D, less sand expansion type of casting defects. Here, uniform ramming will not give any casting defects and it gives greater dimensional stability. So, the answer is option C, greater dimensional stability of the casting. Question number 2. Misrun is the casting defect which occurs due to option A, very high pouring temperature of the metal, option B, insufficient fluidity of the molten metal, option C, absorption of gases by the liquid metal, option D, improper alignment of the mold flask. Misrun is nothing but casting that has solidified before completely filling the mold. Influidity is the main cause. So the answer is option B, insufficient fluidity of molten metal. Question number 3. Two streams of liquid metal which are not hot enough to fuse properly result into a casting defect known as option A, cold shut, option B, swell, option C, sand wash, option D, scab. Here, cold shut is the defect which is improper fusion of two streams of liquid metal in a thin section. So the answer is option A, cold shut. Question number 4. Here column 1 is listed with casting defects and column 2 is listed with cause for the defect. First, hard tear. Hard tear happens due to failure of collapsibility of molding sand and differential cooling rate. So the answer is mold restraint. Next is porosity, which is a gas defect. This happens due to gas entrapment. Next is sand inclusion. This happens due to improper ramming of the molding sand. Finally, shrinkage cavity. This happens due to improper riser design. So the answer is question number 5. Again, column 1 is listed with casting defects and column 2 is listed with cause for the defect. Number 1, hard tear. Hard tear happens due to differential cooling rate. Number 2, shrinkage. Shrinkage happens due to volumetric contraction both in liquid and solid stage. Third, blowholes. Blowholes happens due to low permeability of the sand mold. Cold shut. Cold shut is nothing but improper fusion of two streams of liquid metal. So the answer is question number 6. The hard tearing in the metal casting is due to option A, high fluidity, option B, high melting temperature, option C, wide range of solidification temperature, option D, low coefficient of thermal expansion. Hard tear happens due to differential cooling rate, that is wide range of solidification temperature. So the answer is option C, wide range of solidification temperature.